اوکی، سلام بچه. خیلی خوش اومدین تک تک عزیزایی که الان اومدن، بچه‌ای که قراره بعداً اضافه بشن. امروز در خدمت دو تا از بچهای تیم بلو بریم، باربارا و ماچیک. یا it's okay ماچیک. یا
That's right.
یا خدمت دو تا از بچه‌هاییم، قراره که امروز باهاشون حرف بزنیم. فقط بچه‌ها من این نکته رو بهتون بگم، چون الان سر کارن، اونا روز تعطیلشون نیست. خیلی همگی هم خوش اومدین. 1 ساعت اول استریم به طور کامل انگلیسیه، ولی نگران نباشین، چون بعد از 1 ساعت برای بچه‌ای که یه خورده زبانشون مشکل داره یا خیلی از چیزها رو متوجه نمیشن، ما بچه‌ها هر سوالی کردن راجبش توضیح میدن. پس کلا از الان به بعد انگلیسیه دیگه. ایرادات زبان انگلیسی ماها رو هم ببخشید. البته من بیشتر خودم رو میگم، امید و چیزی که مسلطن. Okay, so we want to start now. First of all, hi and welcome to Barbara and Maciej. I hope that today I speak less than before. Barbara know what I said, but first of all, I want you introduce yourself, your position in Bluebird team, and also in Blair Witch to our viewers, and anything that you want to say. And after that, we start ask about the game.
Yeah, let's start.
All right. So I'm Barbara Kciuk, and I'm a narrative designer for Blair Witch.
Yeah, I'm Maciej Głomb, and I'm a team developer for Blair Witch.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that the answer about the game was not short like that anyway.
They will be longer.
The game is the most important part. We don't want to talk about ourselves so much.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Omid, can you start?
I'm Omid. I'm a Persian journalist. I write about games. And Ahmad, can you?
I'm a Madborn.
One of the biggest
streamer.
Twitch partner, Iranian
No.
Twitch partner that stream in English.
Yeah, I'm one of the only Persians that streams in English. But yeah, I'm me. I stream variety games, and Blair Witch was one of them. Actually, I streamed it a few weeks ago. So I'm pretty fresh with their cut.
Okay.
So Omid, start ask about the game, and we joined you.
Okay. You see, I really want to ask about the industry part of your game, not a specific thing. First of all, I wanted to ask about the goal of your game. What was the ultimate goal of your game? Because you see, Blair Witch is a part of a Blair Witch project, which came around 1999, if I don't get mistaken. And then after that, after 20 years, you just came out with a game called Blair Witch. Why? What did you think about Blair Witch? Is it really needed in 2019 to have any Blair Witch project?
Yeah, basically, this year is 20th anniversary of Blair Witch. So if there was a good time to have a Blair Witch game, it was this year. But yeah, of course, we believe that there's always a room for good horror games. So even though it's not the freshest franchise, it's still important. It's a legendary franchise. It's something people remember even though it was 20 years. So sure, we believe that if you're able to make a good game, you should make a good game.
Yeah, I think that the game didn't just come out of the blue completely, because there was this movie Blair Witch in 2016, I believe. So we kind of followed on that, basically. As to what's our game about, I think Basha is the best to talk about it.
I know that you had a brilliant narrative design, but the question is that why did you choose Blair Witch? You just work on a game, on a franchise which is just horror movie, and the game is psychological horror. I don't understand the relation between these two parts. Why did you switch to psychological?
Yeah, I mean, basically, what we do is psychological horror, because we also did that with Layers of Fear, first and second part, and also Observer. So we I think that wherever franchise we will take in the future, we always try to give this, psychological horror spin to it. About Blair Witch, I think what most connected us was that, we and Lionsgate knew each other before, so they kind of wanted us to make Blair Witch game after they saw Layers of Fear, and we thought that actually Blair Witch universe is kind of similar to what we do because of this, whole loop idea about time loops and space loops. So we kind of wanted to try that and to give the Bluebird spin to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Lionsgate knew from the beginning that we will rather do psychological horror, not survival horror. So it was.
Yeah, because the philosophy of the Blair Witch lore is kind of similar to what we do. We in Bluebird specializes in messing with your environment, with changing stuff, with basically making you disoriented to make you doubt your own senses. And this is something that also happened in a movie because, well, the movie was about loneliness, it was about confusion, it was about being trapped in this unfamiliar environment. So this is something that, even though it is not identical, it was in a sense very close to our philosophy of making games.
Yeah, I understand that, but I wanted a little bit changing the subject. How did you choose your target audience? I mean, it was based on the IP, or did you change it through the processing of the game?
I would say that both a little, because in the end, when you get such a legendary IP, but also an IP that is not the newest one, you don't really know what people expect, because what they have in their minds isn't necessarily the movie, it's the memory of seeing the movie once. So you need to consider that this movie started a lot of trends, that it changed the world of horror, but it was so long ago that those trends evolved. They are totally new trends now. So you always need to keep in mind both that, well, there will be people who love this movie, who are like psycho fans of it, who were making trips to the places where the movie was recorded, and they will want you to be very faithful. But in the same time, there will be a lot of people who just know this movie from either they remember it or they just know the title, but they never saw it. So basically, you need to have them both those groups in mind.
Mm-hmm. Maciej, do you want to add something to the answer of Barbara?
Yeah, I think it's kind of tricky because when we develop the game and we think about the target audience, we don't really know who started with what. So how many of our fan base started with the first Blair Witch movie? How many started with the second one? How many started with the Rustin Park game, for example? And that's also a problem that I recently watched the GDC talk from the lead creative designer for Spider-Man by Imani Games, and he also said the same thing, that at first he was designing only thinking about people who follow this typical road. So first cartoons, then comics, and then movies. And he pretty soon realized that there's a lot of people who never read any comics, who never watched any cartoons, who only, for example, watched movies, and their understanding of the Spider-Man and the whole universe was completely different from other people. Yeah, so that's what I mean, basically. So it's kind of tricky because you never really know who started with what, but I think that what was pretty easy in our case was that I think that most of the people who are really interested in Blair Witch probably started with the first Blair Witch movie because it was like the biggest from the franchise. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You mean like you wanted to appear to all people who watched it first time or even just the last movie as well, right?
Yeah, that's important because in the end, people who know the Blair Witch, even if they just know the title, they don't really remember the movie, they are the ones who will first approach our game. And if it turns out it's good, if it gets a good name, then other people will join, and then it can be people who never knew anything about the Blair Witch. But the people who have those good memories about seeing the movie will probably the first who will become interested in it.
I understand.
Okay, can I ask another question before Omid continued about his question? How much you got influence from other games such as Alan Wake, Outlast, or also Layers of Fear 2 in the last
I did
of the
feel
game.
a little bit of Layers of Fear in there as well.
In last chapters, I think.
Last chapter, yeah.
Well, with Layers of Fear, it's like we know what worked in our previous games. So obviously we want to capitalize on that experience because we did something that people liked. So we can use this as a base and then build on this base, because with horror, you always need to improvise. People just won't fall for the same trick twice. So although you have some good base, you always need to add something more to it. And obviously we wanted to use something that was our style, that worked with our games, but we also wanted to make something new, something that we didn't try before. Yeah.
Yeah, but what you said before, with Outlast, we surely get a lot of inspiration considering the camera mechanic from Alan Wake, also the flashlight combat, and what's I also talked about it a few times in previous interviews. What's maybe not that obvious is Firewatch, for example, because we used it not as a horror reference, obviously, but more of like a story reference. So how to develop a story, how to develop a story through means such like walkie-talkie, for example, without like real characters around you. So it was really a helpful reference for us.
Yeah, and with inspiration, you must always remember that it's not only about getting the best ideas. It's sometimes about throwing out some ideas. Like, for example, we considered maybe we should add some battery mechanisms, but we saw it in Outlast and we thought about it, and well, we just decided that it doesn't fit our game. So it was also something that is an inspiration in the end, that we don't want this or that.
Okay.
So you just just ask the question.
I want, before going out from Layers of Fear, ask another question. We have chapter selection in Layers of Fear. I asked before from Barbara, and she said that I joined to Bluebird when we start Blair Witch, and she was not in Layers of Fear. But I heard about that Maciej, you was with Bluebird team in Layers of Fear 2. And in first of all, I must say, I said before that Layers of Fear 2 for me is the biggest horror game that I've played before until now. First of all, beside Silent Hills 2, only these two games for me is really as a horror game. But we have a chapter selection in Layers of Fear 2. Have you ever thought adding chapter selection to Blair Witch in the future? And we can, because I think we have 17 chapter, and we can select chapter and play it in a mechanism of the gameplay, or
change the storyline even.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that mostly why we did chapter selection in Layers of Fear 1 and 2 was firstly because they are really strictly divided. Like, you go from hub, you go through the whole chapter and go back to the hub again. So maybe because in Blair Witch, the camping serves kind of as a hub, because you go back to it every few chapters. So maybe we could do something like that. But I think that we didn't think about it because of the save system that we implemented. So basically you can make 5 saves, I believe it's 5 manual saves throughout the game. So, you have, for example, you are newly at the end of the game and you have saves from like chapter 3 or 4 or 5, whatever. So, so it's kind of possible this way, but I don't think we'll implement something like, like chapter selection in the future.
Okay.
So you have any plan for post-launch? I know you have some update like bug fixes or something like that. Do you have any special planned for post-launch of the Blair Witch?
There may be something, but we sadly cannot talk about it.
Oh, there's a DLC.
Yeah. Barbara every time answer the question like that. We cannot talk about it. Yeah, we cannot. I ask about the Saw and Lion Gate and maybe another game. No, we cannot talk about it, and we can. It's all the time exclusive game for Xbox. We cannot talk about it.
We would want to, but we cannot.
So there is one.
Who knows?
Who knows?
That answer was meant there is one.
Okay.
These lips are sealed.
Another question about. I hope that you don't say we cannot answer it, but there is another sequel for Blair Witch, like Layers of Fear, that we have 1 and after that 2 and maybe or.
Maybe.
So you can understand why we can't talk about it.
Yeah, we understand. And be sure that we describe to our viewers why you cannot answer all of our question. Yeah,
Because there is one.
because there is one.
Well, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you had a DLC for example,
Layers of
Layers 1. Yeah, Layers of Fear 1. I don't follow. There was a DLC in the Layers 2 or not?
No. There is not.
So Fear, not for Observer.
Only in new updates.
Yeah. Do you have any possible sequel for your projects? I know that your Layers of Fear is one of the best thing, and Observer 2. You know that the voice actor in I don't understand. What was his name? He was in Blade Runner. He was a legendary actor.
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer is rest in peace. He's dead right now. Yeah. Is there any possible sequel for Observer, or you just can't talk about it?
Yeah, so I think without getting into any details, I think that what we can say is that like we don't have Layers of Fear 3 or Observer 2 in the work right now. It's not like we say that we'll never do it. I think it's a possibility for sure, but right now we are not working on it. Basically, I mean we have a few projects like set in the future for us. And this is not one of them, but I think that that's something that we may go back to in the future.
I have a question. Is there any new IPs that you guys might be working on? No, come on.
Like, you are asking the worst question, because the answer will always
It
be
is so.
I want to ask a question.
We don't want you to get pressure.
Yeah, I want to ask another question that you can easily talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, and because I know that Arash before play Layers of Fear 1 and also Layers of Fear 2 and also Blair Witch, and Omid, like me, from the first game that you made until now, play all of that. Only I think Layers of Fear 2 he don't play until now, and it's new. I want you describe about it, but because I watch how you describe this game in E3, my question is Blair Witch the most ambitious game of Bluebird team, or to the date?
I would say that it was a game when we tried the most new mechanisms, like the dog, for example. It was the first time we developed this companion AI. So obviously it required a lot of work. It was a great challenge for us because we never done something like this. And so in that regard, it was certainly the most ambitious. About the scope?
Yeah, I think scope-wise, at least for me, I'm at Bloober for like 3 years now. So for me personally, Observer was the biggest one, scope-wise, because like the most of people work on that. It's like, this game for 8 to 10 hours, and that's something that we never did anymore. Like Layers of Fear 1 and 2 and Blair is for like 5 to 6 hours more or less.
Yeah, and
So-
the team for like almost whole our company worked on Observer,
Yeah.
while now we had 3 separate teams. So, well, it was obviously smaller projects.
Yeah, so scope-wise, I think Observer for sure, but like in a way that that developed us as the developer. So basically, like the project in which we used the most like new mechanics, new features, new things that we figured out is for sure Blair Witch, because just like Basia said, like the bullet, so your dog was like the huge thing, because we built him completely from scratch, like every animation, every behavior, and so on and so on. So it was like a huge task for us, and also the video camera mechanic, which was like something more gameplay-ish than we ever did in our games. Because if you played Layers of Fear Observer, you know that just mostly just walking, just enjoying the atmosphere, just listening to the marvelous music and so on and so on. Even though you had a few mechanics such as scanning people's bodies and different parts of the environment, for example, in Observer. But for sure, Blair Witch was the biggest, and also the combat, right? Because that's the first time that we, you don't have to run from the monsters. You can also like kind of fight them. So,
Yeah, so obviously it was a lot of experimenting for us, and it certainly gave us a knowledge that will be used in our future projects.
Omid.
Talking about
Okay, Arash, okay, go on.
Oh, sorry. Talking about the dog, I have a question from you guys. Was it on purpose that the barking of a dog was always at the moment of very quietness to make everyone get scared? Seriously, I'm a guy who jumps very easily. Every time this dog barked, I was jumping. Was it on purpose to make the dog to be part of the fear?
Yeah, even though Bullet is like a friendly companion, he's a character that is supposed to be the like always as a kind of support for you. His behavior was designed to make you nervous. Like if he starts to bark,
Yeah.
means something is wrong. So obviously, this was one of the ways we used him to make you more nervous, to make you feel the horror.
It was just that he would do one bark randomly in the most quiet situation.
I don't think it was intentional, but I thought it worked.
It really scared me.
But
Many times.
I want to complete the question for Arash. For me was I want to ask from another side, because for me when I saw Bullet, everything is okay. Oh my God, Bullet is here. Okay, everything is fine. Bullet is here, and I told you before when I lost him and he was not there, then I fear from everything, because before that I stream it, and my viewers, everyone see that when Bullet was with me in last chapter, because I was alone in the house, everything was you know what I say? Oh my God, I have not Bullet, I cannot do anything without Bullet, and blah blah blah. But my question is, Omid can help me. You know what I mean, Omid, about Bullet? Can you help me to ask about?
Just magnifies the absence of the bullet. If
Because we talk about this.
okay.
Yeah, now you see, Bullet is an element for the game, for the gameplay. It was supposed to be there that Bullet is in the game or not. You see, if Bullet is not there, the game is really, really similar to Alan Wake or the inspiration. But Bullet was first designed for the gameplay or during the process.
Yeah, I believe he was in the first pitch that we ever did. So he was there from the beginning, and basically he was meant to behave like this, like our solution for two problems. So first, we wanted player to feel alone in the forest, and Bullet kind of gave us that, because he's a companion, but he's also not like a human companion. So your relationship with him is different. but at the same time, he gave you that, like, this fear that what you're talking about right now. Probably, if you started the game from the beginning and you were alone from the beginning, majority of the game wouldn't be as scary as it was when you develop this whole relationship with the dog, and then we take him out from you, and you need to go through the house all by yourself, and it's probably made this experience much more scary. So the fact that you were used to have someone by your side, right? And now you don't have bullets. So yeah, that's probably much more scary.
So do you go to the house in every ending? In every type of endings? Oh, okay. Because I get I'm just confused.
The smile on Barbara's face.
There's probably one ending that you don't go to the house.
What would be the Blair Witch without the house? Like, it's impossible to make a game of Blair Witch without the house. No way.
Yeah, we talked about bullets. In previous games, you didn't have any companion, so the AI behavior was not there. How much challenge was during the designing the AI behavior? Was it really too hard for you? Because you see, when you add something like bullet that it really communicates you fall in love with him or something like that. How much was the challenge? Can you tell us?
For us, it was like not even making an AI is hard, but to really balance it, because like Maciej said, you are not able to, the dog is not able to communicate with you clearly. He cannot speak, so he needs to communicate with his body language, with his barking, and this communication was the hardest part, I would say, because if you make the dog too goofy, too playful, he's not really serving his role. He's just, he's playful and he's great and you love him, but he's not communicating with you. You don't really know what he wants from you. While if you make him too smart, he will be just distracting because he'll be solving the game instead of you. He'll be the one who is leading you everywhere, and you won't have anything to do in this game if he's too smart, because he'll basically take over your role. So this balance to make it seem like an animal, but in the same time to make it useful, to make it helpful, was the hardest part of developing this AI.
Oh, I see. Can I ask about the nightmare part? You see, what was the team's most nightmare during the process?
The biggest nightmare for us?
Yeah, during the process, you see, as a developer, you just build, and the build won't work, and for a whole week you work on a build, and then the build blocks. What was the most nightmarish part of your processing?
That you think about it, maybe happen, oh please, or something like that.
Yeah, probably bullet comes to mind. Yeah, because from the testing side, we had a lot of problems with him. Like, from the problems, like he has like this special thing called navigation mesh. So he goes on that. Like he's not traveling on the environment that you see. He's got his own like invisible navigation. So we had a lot of problems with that because he was getting stuck in trees. He was falling from it. So we had to spawn him again and again and again. We had a lot of problems because there are a few times in the game when he's supposed to fetch you something. Mm-hmm. So he wasn't doing that, for example, or he was like leaving the thing somewhere, and the thing was like falling for the
basically
level.
Being a dog.
Yeah.
But I would say that the most nightmarish part of the bullet for me, at least, was when his animation got bugged and he just turned into giant spider.
Oh my god!
I believe there's at least one video somewhere in the internet because it happened to someone. I believe so.
Oh
but
my god!
It's super random and super silent, but it happens. Yeah.
It's a scary element. Just please add it on an update.
Yeah.
Scale as hell.
It is crazy that you guys did. I didn't have any issues at all with bullets. It is crazy, like you have an AI dog there that doesn't get stuck anywhere. It's crazy how amazing you guys built it. Like I've never seen an AI like a kind of like NPC kind of character that is not bugged really. It's very difficult to go through a stream, through a game, and that's
we
it.
kind of wanted to be a little more sophisticated than most NPCs, because in many, like we did a lot of research about dogs in video games, and in most instances it's just a dog that is this very basic AI who just
Yes.
attacks the first enemy in your side. And here we needed something a little more sophisticated, because like I said, it needed to communicate clearly with you. It needed to fulfill different roles, like he should both lead you, he should warn you, he needed to find stuff. So there was a lot of work that went into
Yes.
Bullet, because, well, he just needed to be more sophisticated than the normal NPCs.
Amazing. Yeah, it's an amazing job that you guys did. Seriously.
Okay, I have another question. I found a picture in one house. I don't know which chapter, but one side wrote their Bluebear, and the other side was your name, Barbara. You know?
I think that was my picture, yes, in the song.
Yeah. My question is: there is any another Easter egg in the game about producers and or?
Well, all the pictures are our pictures.
Okay.
There are like 42 photos, I believe, and everyone is of one of us. So like there's picture of every developer from the game just standing,
That's really cool.
standing in the corner of the room.
Yeah, but it's kind of a tradition for our games,
Yeah.
because we had exactly the same with Observer, and I think in Layers of Fear also.
Yeah.
So yeah, we always are putting ourselves somewhere there. And yeah, with Blair Witch, we also always wanted to be like fitting the environment, the game. So this time it was pictures of us standing in the corner. In Observer, it was those patient cards and everything. So this is our tradition. We are just doing it with every other game.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've noticed that in the final room, because all of you finished the game, right? So I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
Spoiler alert. In the last room, when you find out that Peter is not in the hut, and you get a call from cover, there's also like this table with every photo that you found in the game. Yeah, so these are the photos that you find during the game. These are photos of us, basically.
Okay.
You had previous you had it in your previous games. In Layers of Fear 1, there was a whole album about your you were there in the picture or not, Maciej?
I'm pretty sure I wasn't there because I came to the company just a few months after the game released.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm there on the Switch version because we did the port later on. So yeah, I believe I am.
Omid is Switch fan.
Yeah.
Let me just open.
Until Omid open his Switch, I have another question. Wait a few minutes. I have a lot of here. I must found it. You use Rutger Hauer and Tony Todd in Observer and Layers of Fear, but I don't found who was Ellie's voice actor. Can you tell about him to us? Who was him? It was is he celebrity or?
It was Joseph May, who is a very well-known voice actor, but he's not like celebrity as Tony Todd, for example. This time we decided that we have such an amazing IP that overshadowing it with some, celebrity that is not connected with it wouldn't be a good idea. We wanted it to be this Blair Witch experience without this constantly thinking, oh, this is that celebrity. So this time we decided against it. But yeah, we really love to work with talented people, so maybe next time.
Okay, because when I ask in Gamescom about the voice actor and you answer me, I think that you want to use Blair Witch project actors. I mean 19.
Blair Witch, they all died, so
okay.
Using them would be kind of immersion breaking.
Okay. So Omid.
Let me just ask you about some other parts. Did you guys have to overtime or face broken builds often?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. Did you guys have to overtime or face
Work
broken?
overtime.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that last 3 or 4 months were pretty intense. But I believe it's the case for like every video game ever made.
Yeah, because it's like there's this saying that the work of art is never done, you just abandon it. And basically at this last month, you just want to improve it at least a little bit. You always want to polish something. So even if you don't really need to stay overtime, there's always some little thing you want to improve. So you are staying and just focusing on making the experience as good as possible.
How long was the whole production?
2 years.
2 years, around 2 years.
2 years.
It was secret, big secret.
I have a question about this timing. You see, the announcement was in E3 2019, and about 3 or 4 months the game just published. You are the publisher of your own games. So that was a rush or not? You could just wait for the Halloween or something like that. That was your own decision, or I don't know, Microsoft or something just pushed you?
No, I mean, we had this amazing opportunity to be featured on E3, which is like, wow, this is a dream come true for every developer to be on a main stage on E3. And then, yeah, the game was pretty much in the final stage, and we decided that taking in under consideration the timing, the possible rivalry with other titles, this was the best time to release it.
Okay. About the drama, it's about a storyline. You developed the story. How did you just get the drama? You know, the middle part is really important. The final parts are really important. How did you dramatize your story? Because it's your own story and it's an inspiration from Blair Witch project. How did you dramatize it?
Well, basically, in Bluebell, we believe that to make a good game based on a movie, you cannot just repeat what was already done with the movie. So we needed to create something new, something that would be original, and yet in the same time will stay true to the Blair Witch universe. So we thought about what kind of games we are making so far, and how can we mix those elements with the Blair Witch universe. And basically, we decided that we want to focus a little more on the past of our hero, because in previous games, this is what we are focusing on. But this time, we also needed to focus more on his struggle with the reality, with the Blair Witch forest. So we decided that we want this past to influence what is happening to him now. So this is basically a story about downfall of human nature. This is a story about how your past can change you, how can it influence your future.
I think your story is really nice, and it's working on the game. I don't know, you guys are so perfect about the storytelling, and the most I don't know, the craziest thing I really like about storyline, not the gameplay, not the graphics. You know, the story works, the game works.
I'm very happy to hear it.
Have you got I don't know, any good feedback from your audience? You see, Blair Witch is not the best critically acclaimed your work of I don't know, Bluebird team. But did you get your good feedback from the audience?
Yeah, I mean, because I've been there at the start, just after we released the game, there were a few technical issues that we faced that mostly happened because of the, like the wide variety of hardware that people have. and kind of lack of time at the end, basically. But I think that after we've patched it all, and it took like, I don't know, 1 to 2 weeks maybe, then afterwards we mostly like what we love the most is that maybe the Steam reviews aren't like perfect, but almost all of them I see that people finish the game, which is by itself like a huge accomplishment for us. And even if someone didn't like it, it's okay. Like everyone has his own taste, but
There's always someone that doesn't like it.
yeah. But from we've seen, I would say that most of the people who finish the game like it. And what's more is I had a thought in my mind. So we've heard from a few people who I know that like horror games, like psychological horror games, and played our previous games, and most of them were saying that at least in their view, that was the most like the most ambitious game that we've made, and that's the best game that we've made. So, I mean, it's kind of mixed, of course, but I would say that generally we had a really positive feedback.
Yeah, and with horror, it's always very subjective. Like, some people like this type of scares, some people like jump scares, some people just like atmosphere. So obviously you can't make everyone happy with horror because fear is very subjective. But for me personally, the biggest praise we got is that people are saying that it's very Blair Witchy. Like you feel
Really?
this atmosphere of the movie. This is something that is hard to achieve, and we really wanted to achieve that, and hearing that we succeed, that was an amazing prize for us.
Thank you for your time, but the last question, I know you have many things to do.
I have one as well.
You have one as well. Just ask a question.
Okay,
It's
Arash.
okay, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. Talking about the technical difficulties and stuff, it took me, I think, half an hour to an hour to get the game working with the stream and everything. I came in, so there was one option that helped me to stream it, correctly. There was an option that was called Uber. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Where did that come from? I was just like, the whole time I was screaming, what is Uber? I think it was in the texture or detail or shadows. I can't remember.
Yeah,
that was so confusing for me. Yeah, it was so confusing for me.
Yeah, it was basically scaling the resolution like 4 times, I believe, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you had three settings. You had half, full, which is your
yes
native resolution, and Uber, which is like, I believe it's 4 times bigger. So it's like, if you have 4K, you have like a huge something like that. And if
I put it on that one and it worked. So I made it to be higher resolution, but it worked because I left everything on low quality. It wasn't working, but then I put it on Uber. And it just started working for some reason. It was so confusing for me.
Yeah, but that's what I said before about the technical issues that we've had. Like, there's so much different hardwares. You can have different sets of PCs that it's basically impossible to test it because we don't have like a huge a quality assurance team. There's like 5 to 10 of us at the time testing the game. So it's not easy, and there are things like what you say right now. Yeah, it's like surprise for us too.
Well, I'm happy it worked, but in the end of the day, usually it takes me like 15 to half an hour to get a game working. But that one was just like a weird one I've never seen before. To leaving something on max would actually help the stream. It's crazy. You can go Omid, man.
Okay. As for the last question. We're going to the 9th generation of the console gaming, or is there any other project in 2020 that we could hear from? Barbara's smiling. I don't know. Is there any other project in 2020 we could wait or announcing something like that?
I mean, I believe we don't know yet when the 9th generation will hit, right? Because like Sony or Microsoft didn't say it yet, right?
No. They just told the audience that on holiday we would have the newest Xbox version. I know. I think I believe that you have the dev kit from the newest generation. Is it possible to have any other project from you in future, nearest future?
Well, let me say we are working on one new project, but this is all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think what we can also say is that if the 9th generation will come, obviously we want to sell games on the new consoles. So for sure we'll make a game for a new console. Yeah.
Could you tell us it's a cross-gen or not? You can't say anything about it?
Yeah, not really. But for sure, if we know that the consoles are, in other words, if we know that the consoles will be up before we know that we will release our next game, we'll probably make it for the next gen.
Oh.
Just a logical step.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. All right, I got my answer.
Okay. At the end, if you want add something else to our viewer, you can say to them. And I must say thank you. Accept my invitation and come here, and the other can hear you. And don't worry about it. We describe about anything that you can answer it. It's okay. But if
Sure.
you want anything, add, please.
Yeah, thanks that you have invited us, basically, because it's like it's a month from the release right now, and it's a natural thing that hype kind of goes lower and lower with time. So it's cool that you remember about us and you wanted to hear the story from us.
Yeah, and to all viewers, thank you for taking interest in our game. We are so glad that you like it. We hope that our next projects will be even more exciting for you.
Okay.
Thank you very, very much. In Iran, you have many fans, including me and Ayman.
And also me.
Yeah. So have a good day, have a good job, and
Yeah, you too.
that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks
guys.
a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, we talk about
Thank
anything
you.
later, and I get the link for my YouTube and this stream also to your email. Okay, have a good time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
Bye.